The time has come for you to lip sync for the crown.
It's time to crown the winner of our super sweet season 16. And I gotta say, I didn't see this one coming. I'm Anna Ruber with PopCulture.
And I'm Nick Valdez with comicbook.com.
And this is Social Call, where we offer up our unfiltered opinions about everything RuPaul's Drag Race. And man, we've got a lot of opinions because that finale was pretty iconic. Today we're going in on the season 16 finale of RuPaul's Drag Race, and we are officially ascending our next winner to the throne. Nick, I gotta know what you thought of the end of season 16.
This has to be one of my favorite reunions into endings in a long time.
Yeah.
Not only did we get all the returning queens back competing for $50,000 in a Lollapalooza, which was amazing, by the way, just shout outs to that. Morphine, I knew she had All-Stars winner energy, but I didn't know that the prize was coming so soon for her, right? This is incredible. Good for Morphine, good for Megami, she did super well. Good for all the queens. It was great to see all of them actually show off more of their skills. I don't know, I kind of hope we do something like that in the future. I know how All Stars did a returning talent show for some money as well, and I kind of hope that this becomes the new pattern. This is way more fun than just a reunion.
I still want a reunion, but why not more? Drag Race is year round at this point, and I'm always in favor of these queens getting their coin. So I think we should do both, Let's have a Lollapalooza lead into a reunion where they're all still sweaty in their leotards. Let's keep the energy going. Now, we did take a week off for the Lollapalooza, but we are back to talk about the finale. So I'm glad we got to talk for just a second about that, about how sickening Morphine is. And now we get to talk about how sickening Morphine is again.
Category is Grand Finale Eleganza.
We get the return of our season 16 queens as they walk down the runway during this finale. Right off the bat, obviously Morphine is everything to me. She is the mug, she is the body, she is the makeup. She's everything. And her look was by far my favorite. Were there any other standouts for you in these returning queens?
Yeah, it really was just Morphine giving us her best Selena look. I did like Mirage's look. I like what she does with her eye. I wish we got to see more of this. Is once again where with Mirage, I really wish we got to see more of her because she clearly has something, a cool style that I really appreciate. Plasma too. Plasma has All-Stars winner written all over her. She looked great there. And it's just a great cast. I think seeing them all come back, seeing them all in the Lollapalooza, seeing their finale looks, I was looking at them going, man, I really liked her. I really liked her. I really liked her. This was a great season.
It was a great season. Although I have to say, when Hershey walked out, I was man, we've been watching this season for a long time. I forgot about her. No shade. I was just wow, this season's been going for a while.
I also forgot about Hershey. I'm so sorry. Good luck to you and All Stars in the future. She's also one where I'm I would not mind seeing her again.
I also love seeing Tsunami's interesting sculptural gown moment. That was super cool. Loved that. And then Maya, love seeing her dripping in these sparkles. It feels like she's got the budget now. And you know how we love Maya on the show.
She is bananas. It's Nymphia Wind.
Obviously, we got to talk about the top three on the runway, though. We've got Nymphia Wind, Plain Jane, and Sapphira Cristál coming out in there. Eleganza finale looks. We got to start with Nymphia because I know we've had a lot of banana discourse this season, but my God, she looked amazing. The reveal was so fun. She just looks like one of those dolls, like a holiday Barbie or a fun seasonal Barbie, right?
Yeah, she looked incredible. And that's the thing is what we've learned about Nymphia is yes, we'll have banana looks, but in the grand scheme of things, like when you think of all the runways, we've had a lot of yellow, but also not really as much as you would think, right?
Yes.
Not really as much as it felt like week to week. So I do want to apologize by saying that straight out, that every week I was like, oh, she's wearing yellow again. But when you really look back on all of her runways, not as much as you think. And same thing with the bananas. Like, we had a lot of bananas, but not as many as you would think. So seeing it return here, it was just kind of like oh, yes, this is what you're good at, and this is the best version of what you've given us with these banana looks. Like, this is great. It was elevated, it was cute, it was fun, sparkly. Just, yeah, what a great look to go out on.
I mean, if you're gonna go out on a banana look, this is the banana look to go out on. Now, what did you think of Plain Jane's outfit? Because I feel like we really didn't get to see much of her in this kind of like red color this season, and now I wish we would have. She looked beautiful.
We didn't get a lot of gown looks from her. We got the few that we've gotten were like really stellar. So here in the full ballroom dress kind of look, it was incredible. And my only thing is that I wish she didn't show the legs. Like, I know that's part of her, that's part of her design, that's part of her silhouette. She loves that stuff, but I really wish she just would have stuck to the gown.
I felt like it cheapened it just a little bit. Like, obviously she's number one at padding this season. She looks fantastic. Her legs are beautiful, but like the gown was just so elegant. And then to have a little bit of a I'm wearing leotard moment, it didn't really do it for me. What did do it for me though was Sapphira's look coming out like warrior queen. Wow, this was beautiful. It looked really heavy, but it was really beautiful.
I had the exact same thought. I was like, this looks expensive and heavy. That poor woman, what she does for us in our entertainment, like, kudos to her, kudos to Mother. Like, she looked incredible, full warrior Valkyrie princess with the spear and with like just everything. But also, yes, that definitely looked like 100 pounds easy.
Here's my question for you, because I know some people were saying it was like a little too bulky for them. And I looked and I was like, maybe, but it wouldn't be my first, second, or third thought. Where do you weigh in with that?
I can see where they're coming from, because once we did have the same reaction going, oh, that looks heavy. But when else do you do this stuff? Like, if not for the finale of RuPaul's Drag Race, when do you wear such an encumbering look? Like, when do you put everything on? This is the time to do it, right? And Sapphira just kind of owns that, and she's got the frame that could withstand that. So if anyone could wear like 500 pounds on them, it's her.
Right, she's got like that gravitas that like makes it feel like she's not being worn by the dress. It feels like she really is wearing the dress.
But there's another body sample.
Now we've got to get into these original songs, because you know how I feel about the original songs. Most of them are not a sleigh with me, unless you are like Sasha Colby with GODDESS. Okay, maybe I don't remember it as well as I thought I did. But let's get into this season's original songs, starting off with Nymphia, the Queen of Wind. What did you think of her performance?
I think she had the most physically involved. She was being like picked up and tossed around and flipped and like 316, ollied, all the Tony Hawk references, but she looked magical. Like, she looked fantastic and not in yellow. She made a very distinct choice not to wear yellow, and she looked great. I think the song with all three of them, I was just kind of like, all right, these songs really, I don't know. I like the idea of doing originals, but when has it been? I guess Sasha Colby, yeah, you're right. Where the last time the song was actually good, when we were like, oh, that's a great song, but it's here. They're all fine. We're looking at the performances, right?
Yeah, I'm 1,000% with you there. There are very few and far between original songs where I'm like, oh my God, yeah, like Naomi Smalls, that was great, Legs, but she was giving me like Pop princess. I loved her just being tossed around. I thought it was, I think it was the best of the three.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, see, this is where the divide starts happening, right? Because okay, well let's talk about playing first. Before we get to the
I guess we'll go in order. Yeah.
When you have such a good opener and when you have such a good ender, then you have Plain Jane in the middle, who was unfortunately too plain for this. Like the bodysuit song, it didn't really. It was another one where it's like, oh well, that's not really a good song, but also the performance, I was like, oh well, that's not really good.
I just want to know, she has worn bodysuits throughout the season,
yes,
but so does everyone. I didn't know that was a thing we were like associating with Plain until I was forced to think that.
That was, I did say a lot during this season, well, oh yeah, she's doing the same silhouette again. So
that's true.
I get it. The bodysuit thing I got, but also you're also 100% right where it's not the first thing we think of Plain Jane. It's just one of the things we think about her, So like when she makes it her entire song persona, the reveal of a bodysuit into another bodysuit, the second one was great. I kind of, the unfortunate thing was the first one was so kind of drab and like, black bodysuit, just kind of plain. There's no, little accoutrement with it. It was just like, the reveal to the second one was good and the padding was there. She looked great. Body was serving, but it's just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I think it was Michelle who said this and I 1000% agree. If you're going to do like a silly bodysuit reveal, you have to do like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Because it's not really giving anything if you just do one into the other. It's like, okay, that's a different one. It would have been kind of a serve, but probably wouldn't have saved the performance like overall to me if she had done just like bodysuit after bodysuit after bodysuit. That would have been kind of funny, but I don't know. And her whole brand is that she's like serving like shady, she's serving like Russian, and I just was like, where is any of that with this? Although again, I don't know how much like creative control they get over these songs.
Yeah, and it's the same thing too with, when we get their final interviews, right? Where we get, the moment where they look back on their childhood, and the same thing we get every season where it's like, oh, tell younger you where you'd be and end up. And with Plain, it was kind of the same problem, that we had with Bodysuit, where it's like, this just doesn't feel like enough. And her answers too, where it still feels like she's got like a guard around her that I hope in All Stars kind of goes away by then. It's just something still feels protected. And when you get the answers we got from Nymphia and then what we get from Sapphira and see all that afterwards, it's like, well, here's why you're number 3, you're second runner up.
Say what you want about Ru's love of vulnerability on this show, but you have to be vulnerable in order to win. And like Jane just didn't want to give that to us. And that's fine, but that's not a winner. Let's move on to Sapphira though, because she was my winner pretty much this entire season until this finale. Not that anything bad happened, because I really like this performance. I love the addition of the opera. She was serving orange. She was giving me gritty. She is a Philly queen. I love the dancing. I thought she was serving. And again, the song is whatever. I don't even remember what it was about.
And that's the thing, because with Sapphira, I also thought, I was like, wow, like I thought she won it there. I really thought this was it, because I was like, oh, this is, I don't know if it was like last bias or something that she came out, or the fact that like you, I've also been thinking Sapphira is the winner for the last couple weeks, but it was a great performance. And, just another one. I think that's the thing. It's when we talk about the finale, we get to it here, the nitty gritty here in a bit. That's just with Sapphira. It's unfortunately Sapphira might hit that wall that we were talking about with Q, or that thing that we always talk about where it's like, oh, you're doing so well that eventually it's like, you're doing great. But
you always do great. I expect you to be. Yeah.
Yes. It's unfortunate, but I think that's what happened with Sapphira in the finale. I really think so.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if my love of Nymphia's performance was that I got to see her perform less during the season. Like that might be my own bias, just being like, well, I've seen Sapphira perform and she always slays. And I all season was like, oh my God, number one. And then you give me a new shiny toy over here and I'm like, oh, are you the winner? Like, I don't know, maybe that's me.
Yes, it's the Woody and Buzz Lightyear, right? Where it's
It is.
Woody was holding us down until Buzz Lightyear came along. We're like, well.
Before we move on to the lip sync for the crown, we've got to name our third place contestant. And like we mentioned before, it is plain Jane. And I'm not surprised. She's not surprised. You know, like it is what it is. Nymphia and Sapphira, I think we coined this from the beginning, honestly. If you go back and watch our Meet the Queen special, I think we said that they were going to be in the final 4 at least, and they're definitely final 2.
It's funny getting to the finale, because when you watch our cast reaction video with Nymphia, we were both like, oh yeah, well here's the winner.
And then we doubted ourselves. We should never doubt ourselves, Nick. Our intuition is so strong. Although my mind was like absolutely scrambled when Sasha Colby came out next to get people to donate to the ACLU by lip syncing to her, and I was like, take all my money. I forget I'm doing a recap. No notes, just like jaw dropped.
What a way to remind us, right? Like, oh, and just in case you forgot why she won, for whatever reason, here you go, just effortless.
What a woman. Okay, let's move on to Miss Congeniality. We had a first with Miss Congeniality this year. First, they named Tsunami Muse as our Miss Congeniality, which I agree because she's such a sweetie pie. And then they also announced that Sapphira was going to be a double winner with Miss Congeniality, and she had to like run from backstage. Like she was like still wearing like a bonnet.
Yes, I do love that really was just, they announced it right then and there and took everybody by surprise. It was just then that I think we all kind of knew, but also didn't want to really acknowledge until it happened. Where it's like, well, if Sapphira's winning this,
I know. Part of me was like, well, maybe they'll do like Miss Congeniality winner. Like that's happened before on Big Brother.
Yeah.
But probably not, right? But she also deserved it. What'd she say? She was like, it pays to be kind. And it's so true. She is so mother. She's like so wonderful and warm. And we got to see so much of that this season. So I'm like very happy that she won it, you know?
Yeah, same here. Same for Tsunami. Once she had zero drama, zero issues throughout the entire show. She only went home because it was time for the, competition to level up that little bit. But Tsunami herself, like she's just kind of flawless through the entire run. So for her to cap it off with this win, like congrats to Tsunami too. Absolutely.
Now it's time to move into the lip sync for the crown, which was fittingly to Padam Padam by Kylie Minogue. What else could it be to,
the
song
budget.
of the year?
The budget of their show now. Oh my God.
I love it. Such a good choice. Honestly, it was kind of a slay from the beginning, and I mean it not in like a slay, I mean it in like a slay. Because Nymphia is dressed as Boba right off the bat, and immediately does what Asia O'Hara wishes she could have done with the butterflies, but with balloons that are supposed to be Boba. Yeah. Once that reveal happened, I was like, oh, she's gonna win, right?
Yeah, it was. I don't want to liken it to Sasha and Shay, a moment where it's like, oh, someone's so dominant in the competition being beaten out by a lip sync, because they were so close. And in this finale too, they were like right there, neck and neck. And the Bobas kind of took it that one little extra level further. But, you know, Sapphira, though, and her reveals, Sapphira was right there. It was such like a nail-biting lip sync, because I was like, you know, do you give it to Sapphira, who's been dominant through so much of this? Do you give it to Nymphia, who was dominant early on, and then kind of faded, but then peaked right at the right moment? So the Bobas did it, the cartwheel into the reveal did it, and
I just knocked my microphone off. Can you believe? How did she do that?
And it was, like you said earlier, it's the fact that we've seen Nymphia just perform less. So, you know, she's our shiny Buzz Lightyear, where it's like, oh, she's got laser sounds and action movements, you know?
And handstands.
Sapphira, you know, giving us the snake in our boots, still love it. We still, like, enjoy it. I was a big fan of, like, the ponytail reveal. And, like, it's just incredible. Like, it's not like she underperformed that. It's just Nymphia just had that little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, Nymphia was giving me like a true pop star, and Sapphira was also amazing. But my one critique with her is like, we get these fangs at the beginning, and I'm like, oh, cool, we're gonna do like a vampire thing. Like, there's gonna be something with like blood or like a heart or something, which would fit with the song. It'd be cool. And then we didn't really go anywhere with that. And that was my like, oh, I don't know if you lost me a little bit with the vision behind the reveals there.
Especially when you have a full boba tea.
I know, like you gotta go vampire. If there's a boba on the other side of the screen, like you've gotta go vampire.
And Taiwan, this is for you!
They both were really, really close throughout this entire performance and throughout the season, basically. Were you surprised when Nymphia was crowned the winner?
I do have to admit, yes. Like you said, we did joke about the fact that we called Nymphia the winner right from the jump, but for these last few weeks, we were like, oh, okay, well, it's Sapphira's to lose, and just didn't know how weighted of a statement that actually was. Right? It's just seeing it in action, seeing how important the finale really, really is. And it kind of just goes to show you how great of a season this was overall, because it just felt so close.
Yeah, it really did. I was both surprised to see that she had won, but then was like, well, why am I surprised? You know, it just really felt like such a wonderful ending to such a competitive season. I mean, it meant a lot to Nymphia. She shouted out Taiwan in her acceptance speech, which was a really sweet moment. It's such a great ending to her arc. And like we talked about before with All Stars, I think we were excited to like see more of what Nymphia had to bring, but she's so fully realized as a queen. I'm okay with not having her come back for All Stars until we do another All Winners. I am excited to see what Sapphira brings. You know, like the same critiques that we had for both of them can be flipped on their heads now that the other one won, if that makes sense.
Yes. 1,000%, because, you know, as much as we complimented Sapphira's runways throughout the show, it's the same for Nymphia. Just incredible work throughout, where it's the same thing we said with Sapphira. Oh, I can't wait to see when she comes out, when she crowns the next winner, her comeback look. You know, like Sasha Colby came out in that like incredible like earrings into bras and just incredible look. That's the kind of stuff I was imagining for Sapphira, because she was already doing it. But now it's like, okay, maybe there's just a little part of her that could be shaped in an All-Stars. Like, maybe she also just had something missing. As someone watching, I don't know what that is, but it's... I'm glad we don't record these the night of, is basically what I'm saying here. It's like, I probably would have like had a harsher response, but at the same time, like, I get it. It was, it's so close. And Nymphia winning makes a lot of sense. So would have Sapphira, but at the end of the day, a lot of people got money and a lot of people won. This was a very strong cast. So I honestly can't wait to see all of them again. Like, this is the first time where I'm like, you know what? Let's have them all look back in All Stars someday.
Definitely my favorite season in a while. And definitely the most competitive season in a while, especially when it comes to like the latter half of the season. I've got no complaints, you know. Nymphia is an icon, and so is Sapphira, and so is Plain in her way. So it was really fun to get to see them all show their stuff. Nymphia is such a deserving winner. And I can't wait to see what happens next. Well, actually, we won't have to wait very long to see what happens next. Here's our quick programming note, because we've got All Stars 9 coming back on May 17th. You know, Nick and I are going to be recapping it. We cannot wait to see who's competing. We're probably going to do like a cast reveal video whenever they do announce who's going to be in there. So make sure you like and subscribe down below. You won't want to miss that. And then we'll be on to All Stars. I feel like Drag Race is a year-round sport now, and I could not be happier about it because, man, I hate waiting in between seasons.
It's always tough to see another season go, celebrate the finale, you know, always feel a little sad. But, you know, now that the other one's coming in just a couple of weeks, let's go. Let's do it. I can't wait.
Nick and I are going to go take a nap for 2 weeks and then we'll be back. Well, it's been so much fun recapping the season with you, Nick. It's always lovely to chat Drag Race with you. And thank you everyone who's been watching and commenting and sharing our videos. We love seeing what y'all have to say in the comments too. So we will see you for All Stars 9. Until then, maybe you take a nap too, and we will see you then.